Secret of Mana or Children of Mana or
This is
whatever of
Legend of
Mana.
Mana. It's one of the better ones, but it's not going to show in this playthrough.
That's like saying getting shot in the leg is better than getting shot in the head.
I mean,
It's
it
technically
is.
true, but you'd rather not either.
I'm
I
glad
like
that
Legend of
like
Mana.
we're 4 weeks into this franchise and you are comparing it to various wounds you could be receiving.
Why is the screen so bubbly?
Why is the screen
It's
so
a bubbly
black?
game.
Okay, yeah, those are some shoujo anime ass bubbles.
There's a lot going on in this visually.
There's a big old rock yelling. There's a big old lion. There's
You missed
a
the
clown
tree,
with
the talking
extremely...
tree.
I mean,
I'm-
damn near
I'm
I'm
everything
more
talks
interested in the
this
Talking
game.
Rock. I think the Talking Rock is cooler.
Talking Rock is much cooler. Talking trees are passe.
We've seen 2 talking trees in this at least.
Oh shit! It's
Excellent.
Minecraft worlds, complete with weirdly blocky continents.
And then more bubbles.
I mean, bubbles make the world go round.
Legend of Mana has a
Okay.
pretty devil may care attitude about geography. Just put things wherever.
just whatever. Who cares?
Put the volcano next to the town. It'll be fine.
That makes
I
it
am-
easier to sacrifice people to the volcano.
I'm a little upset by how long the camera lingered on Anime Girl's ass.
You know, I'm not going to say I didn't notice that. It's like,
Especially
way to
weird
go,
because this
intro.
cutscene is new. They did this because they were like, Legend of Mana, we can't sell it to the kids now. It's got to be hornier.
They couldn't sell it to the kids
That's
the
a
first time.
Yeah, and we can't sell it to the kids now. It didn't work.
Summer of Adventure, my ass.
All right,
Well,
like
Summer of Adventure, her ass anyway.
What? like I'm aware that like this is probably breaking some sort of rule to say this, but at age 12, if I saw that I would have been like I would have like rewound it and replayed it 4 times. I know what I was about.
We have opinions on what this character should wield.
Oh, a flail.
We're going with sword. It's Sword of Mana. It's Seiken Densetsu. It's totally sword.
No, it's not Sword of Mana. That's a different game.
Finalize the chosen name.
Finalize the chosen name. Okay, name them
Dog.
Crunch Rap.
Can that
Crunch
fit?
There we go. Crunch Rap.
No.
Contrap does not start with the G, Bobs.
Crunch.
Oh my
No.
I miss the adventures
Oh.
of Gogs and Bob.
god. I was going for Gogs, but I do like Crunchwrap.
But you're spelling it wrong.
I gave
He
you a
was very
spelling guide,
specifically
Cocklefob.
spelling it crunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Be
do
an O, not
cross.
Q.
Crunchwrap is good though too. Though I'm okay with you being.
We're
that
not
much
even
more
getting
blatant.
paid for this.
Speak for yourself. I get a nickel every time Goggle Bob gets bullied.
Well, share the wealth, asshole.
Do you get
Yeah,
taxed on that?
It's you know it's capitalism. I got in early, so everybody else has to just like beg for my scraps. I'm a CEO now.
Gross.
I'm an early investor.
Early adopter.
I'm an angel investor because I'm Goggle Bob's Goggle God.
Who are you investing in?
I don't know,
What?
man. I just made shit up.
You just say things.
Hi, have you met me?
I have.
Wait,
in
no,
person.
yeah, I'm like, wait, this is probably the one time that phrase shouldn't have. Shouldn't
We
have
came up
said
for
Fanboy
my
and I
birthday
have-
this year.
Fanboy and I have
Aw.
been meeting each other for easily 10 years now.
Does it get dark when
we
there's
met
too
in
much
person
water?
the first time 11 years and 1 month ago.
It so
Okay,
far
yeah.
it has just told me that I cannot go where it's dark.
Can't go where it's dark because
It's illegal. Put your mailbox down.
mailbox.
Mailbox.
Place mailbox. This is important. You shall become the mailboxer.
Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of those.
I'm going to invent a sport
Mailboxers.
called mailboxing.
Oh god, are you just rehashing your old Twitter thread now?
Oh my god.
Oh, mailbox head. No, I need to dig that up now.
That's-
Was that this account
Someone
or the
turned the
last
lights
one?
on from outside. From inside, oh my god.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yes.
Is
Hold on.
somebody closing timing your garage?
No, it's like-
Beginning.
It's like the light for the garage is inside, but
The light is coming from inside the house.
yeah. Well, no, like there's like a light in the garage, but like the switch to turn it on is inside my kitchen, and someone just turned off the switch in the kitchen. Now I'm in the garage and it's all dark.
I suggest you go turn the lights on.
Don't worry, you have the washing machine.
Okay. All right. Almost 2.5 years ago, exactly
Oh
now,
god.
I wrote, "Which YouTube personalities do you think you could trick into getting their head stuck in a mailbox?" It's a real and important question. I would like that. I'm opening the floor for answers on this.
There are mailboxes big enough for people's heads to fit in?
I said get stuck in. I didn't say fit in.
Well, no, but like, that implies that it's big enough for you to somehow put your head into it.
Exactly. You have to trick them into getting their head stuck in a mailbox.
I'm stuck on the mailbox size problem.
Look, just-
I
first.
feel like you could
you've-
probably make it happen.
You've seen cartoons. You know, like what old mailboxes looked like before they were all those things. Here, I'll give you a fucking visual aid.
It's got to be fully the mailbox that sings at you for Blue's Clues.
There, see? Happy now?
You got a letter.
Mr. Bean doesn't count.
Mr. Bean's a living cartoon.
Yes, indeed.
Paul's 6
I-
glorious
I have-
episodes.
Although that's not quite Mr. Bean, and that bothers me.
Well, there you go.
Mr.
Anyway.
Bean.
Answer the question. Who do you think, what public figures, YouTube or otherwise, do you think you could trick into getting their head stuck in a mailbox?
Oh my god.
I'm not comfortable answering this question where I'm being recorded.
Wow. I'll say it.
I
I think
don't-
I
I don't
could.
think
I think
I-
I could very easily trick Elon Musk into getting his head stuck in a mailbox.
I don't think I could trick anyone to getting their head stuck in a mailbox.
There are precious
if-
emeralds in there.
I would just
Well-
like act like I'd never heard of him until he got really mad at me. At which point he would be vulnerable to making bad decisions. At which
I
point
still
would
think
just
that
say,
would be the funniest thing ever if somebody interviewed Elon Musk and was like, "Okay, and what do you do?" Like just
yeah.
the
If
entire
like
time.
if they just I feel like the best way to just send him into like a full blown panic attack, which would be very funny. Yes, I am saying that specific panic attack would be hilarious. Would be to talk about him like you have no fucking idea who he is,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
while at the same time mentioning shit he has done. So you know about him, but you're not putting a face to the name, and like only mention the shit he's embarrassed about, like refuses to bring up, like the submarine, or all the broken Twitter promises, specifically how it was supposed to be a dating app by the end of 2023.
God, I'd forgotten about that.
What was?
X,
Oh,
the
you didn't
everything
know
app.
this?
Oh no. Oh no. I
Yeah,
need to sit with that for a minute.
it's horrifying.
I was just struggling to get back onto my washing machine.
Normal things that normal people say.
Anyway, some of my observations from this adventure. I feel like Markiplier would stick his head in the mailbox if you asked him nicely. He just wants to be a good sport. I feel like I could get Tim Pool and the Cord Ring to stick their heads inside the same mailbox simultaneously without much effort.
I guess I don't know enough famous internet people. Really.
Both of those guys are just dickheads.
No,
Yeah, they're famous only for being assholes.
I mean,
Okay, so this is kind of throwing me, Gaga Bob. Your little You're I'm just gonna call her Mrs. Rapp here.
Crunch.
Mrs. Rapp is she's running around. He's all pixely, but the world is like almost ridiculously HD. I'm used to seeing like pixely sprites running around on like really low poly backgrounds, like Xenogears or Grandia, that sort of thing, right? There's a charm to that. I'm used to seeing pixely sprites running around on extremely detailed pixel art, like Celeste. This is kind of throwing me. I'm not used to there being such a huge disconnect between the character and the backgrounds.
Like, it looks like they took the sprite from another game and plopped it in to this background.
And also,
Not even
to date
that.
myself, the sprite came specifically from Saga Frontier.
Wait, so this is a reused sprite?
No, it is not, but it is a similar art style to Saga Frontier for the sprites.
Huh.
This was not made by people that made like Secret or Trials of Mana. This was made by Saga people.
I'm reminded of there was a game that like did this to like a certain effect. Anyone play Contact for DS?
Oh God,
I do
Contact.
remember Contact.
I really liked how the professor guy in that game was always a pixel sprite guy, whereas the people he was talking to were very much, well, still sprites, were implied to be like actual people. Like if you zoomed in on them, they would look more like a person. If you zoomed in on the professor, he was always just a sprite. That was kind of cute.
Yeah, this looks kind of unsettling.
I don't hate it, but it feels weird. It feels like there should be a button you can press to like de-res the background, you know? Like in those Monster World games or something.
See, it hits me more like older animation style, in the sense that the background is static. So
All right, yeah.
if you look at some of the old Disney movies, you'll notice that the background is a different color from the foreground or the animated objects. That's what this reminds me of, but obviously in a much more colorful and updated manner.
That's a cool way to look at it. And like, it's not bad that like they're doing that. It's just incongruous.
Like how the backgrounds are painted, but anything that needs to be interacted with is on cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only in this case, instead of cells, it's sprite art. Okay, this dork-ass loser in his dork-ass loser hat, I want you to hit him with a truck.
Is it
I
pumpkin?
unfortunately have not found a truck artifact, so I cannot hit anyone with a truck.
It's okay, I believe
Give
in you.
But there's literally like tapping in the ceiling.
Why are you in a haunted garage?
I
Does
can't escape noise anywhere.
Does the ceiling of your garage, like, is it part of your attic? Or
We don't have an attic.
Well, part of the house in some way.
Like, wait, what do you mean?
Like, does the living air, assuming that it is a, connected garage, since you were saying you could get into the house from it, is the house, like the second floor of the house, over the garage?
It's all just one floor.
Oh, never mind. Disregard. Architecture is not my forte.
It could be though.
I mean, I have an interest in it, but that's because I'm used to houses that were built in the 1800s at this point.
Hmm.
Like, not having a second
Well-
floor is a foreign concept to me.
Well, this one-story house is probably the most expensive place I've lived in. The rest have been apartments.
Hmm. expensive is relative right now. Like people are paying ridiculous amounts for 1-bedroom apartments and also ridiculous amounts for houses, and that
And
is a very
ridiculous
long
amounts
time.
all over the place.
True story. I am trying to buy a new pair of sneakers, okay? I thought Zappos used to be cheap. What happened here?
Well, this bloke seems pretty on the level.
You just call a guy a bloke.
Yes, he did.
Grotesque.
Also,
Anytime a guy says the words percent, you should immediately start looking for the closest chair to hit him over the head with.
What?
And there are so many chairs in this room.
Exactly. So your lack of action here is upsetting.
I don't know if they're interactable chairs.
They are not.
They are not.
You can tell because they're not the right cell, as like Cass has pointed out.
It's
but there
burrito time.
hadn't been anything to interact with in that other screen that wasn't another character, so I couldn't apply it to other objects.
I
What
have
is
become
that like
burrito.
weird leaf man you spoke to for a moment?
I think that was a sprout.
You're a sprout.
Is that Chocobo wearing overalls?
Yes. Why not?
Eh?
I don't like any of this.
That was already known.
That's my little Pee-wee. He's quite fragile, so please leave him be.
I mean,
And
well,
also,
we've lost Chromes.
not at all concerning that we find a treasure chest of bird meat in this house.
Maybe it's meat for birds. Maybe it's what birds eat.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I'm choosing to believe this.
I was playing Minecraft last night with some friends, and we found a fortress in the Nether, and it was full of piglins, very angry piglins, and a lot of pork.
That's why they were angry.
No. The pork was on a campfire, like it was being cooked, which brought up a lot of ethical questions. because-
Oh, so speaking of ethical questions, not at all an ethical question,
Uh-oh.
but I have a challenge for the group that is not Cass, because Cass knows the answer. So,
Oh,
on this past Thursday, Cass and I went to a concert.
sorry.
Okay.
And okay, well, when I say, well, I mean, it was definitely a concert, but Cass, you want to
There
tell
was
them who
music.
we saw?
Jonathan Colton.
Okay, so it's Jonathan Colton, and it's at a winery. So the deal is that there are 4 seats per table, and Cass had another friend who was invited. So there were 3 of us that like relatively knew each other. So there was a 4th complete stranger that none of us knew. Complete stranger, never met him before, just a random Joko fan. Okay, we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
good?
Yes.
Okay, so, complete stranger. I ask you. You can. I will give a prize to the person who correctly guesses the closest without going over. And
Alright.
Cass can also judge. This complete stranger, how long did it take for him to start telling us about his Dungeons and Dragons game and the current module he's running?
2 minutes.
Within
4 minutes?
within 14 words of his introduction.
Wow, that's a really unpleasant choice of numbers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't. 15 then. Whatever.
unpleasant choice. So, Crumbs, do you have any guess?
I don't know. I just said 4 minutes.
I'll
Okay,
take
Caithness, did you have a guess?
the long yes and say 5 minutes.
This is pretty impressive as far as how quickly you think a nerd will start talking about their D&D game.
Well,
You're at a fucking Jonathan Colton concert. It is assumed that everybody there is the kind of person that a guy who goes to Nerdcore shows on purpose, would bully.
that's not wrong.
Say the Booby
Gogglebob,
Ninjas.
are we talking
Like it
from
just
when...
makes sense that he would feel like with that he was with kindred spirits.
Are we talking from, like, the moment he sat down?
I would say from the, like, I mean, there was, like, kind of a sitting and, like ordering period there. Like, not from the second he sat down. There was, like, a brief, like, I don't know.
Was there an introduction? Did you exchange names?
I
Yes.
believe so, yes.
So starting from then,
Okay.
it seems reasonable.
Actually, it took a surprising amount of time. It was longer than 5 minutes because he spent a lot of time talking about his job first.
Yes.
Okay.
I will say that there was, like, a period where he'd talk about his job and kind of vaguely his fitness regime.
Well, okay, so the city that we're in is not great for owning a car, so if anybody actually lives in the city, it's easier to, in this case, he was talking about bicycling to work. So that part at least made sense. That was reasonable and normal to me, at least.
Yes. But
And
then immediately after that...
immediately after that, the next topic was... Here's the module I'm currently running, and all of the levels, and I'm sitting there thinking, A, I did not budget mentally for the variable of who could have been in that seat. And B, I ain't nerdy enough for this shit.
You're at a Jonathan Colton show. Yes, you
Right,
are.
and I should have known better. I fully accept that the onus is on me here. Oh.
But
I
yes.
But
found
yeah.
an unopened keychain down like the side of the washing machine. It's gone forever.
He starts talking about the game he's DMing and this and that. And, like, it took me a minute to mentally transition into, oh, he's talking about D&D now.
Well,
Got it.
because he started with, I'm a dungeon master, so if my players are happy, I'm doing something wrong. Which is a phrase divorced from other meanings that it would be concerning, like to tell a stranger. Because I think that was the seg, was that he was talking about his job, and that he was, like, kind of, like, getting his coworkers into biking or walking or something, and then he immediately segged that into, I'm a dungeon master, so if the people I'm in charge of are happy, I'm doing something wrong. Which, again, I cannot emphasize enough how that could have a different meaning.
But also, he didn't explicitly say dungeon master. He said DM. And in the context of working, I was thinking, okay, district manager? Like, I was not... that's why it took me an extra beat to
Then he started
realize.
talking about kobolds, and you were fucked.
Well, he was talking about his charges being a higher level than he's used to, or whatever, which kind of a
High level
typical-
kobolds.
He
Got it.
wanted them to be able to fight back or something like that.
Yes. Like,
Filthy.
and he was very distinctly giving us the level numbers, and I admit I'm a nerd and I got instantly bored. Like, he was very
That's the thing
useful.
about, like, talking about your D&D sessions is like talking about your podcast. No one actually wants to hear it, but society requires us to pretend we do.
Something vegan, something CrossFit.
Yeah, there's like very little difference between CrossFit and Dungeons and Dragons ultimately.
Well, one of them promotes heart disease more.
But you might be
Yeah.
surprised which one.
Okay,
show-
my house is
Well, that
quiet.
anecdote might have been hell, but I've eaten most of a burrito during it, so I don't regret it.
Though, for the record, the concert was good, and most of the time your compatriots at the table shut up.
Listen, I
Yeah,
just have
I
Nemesis stuck in
honestly-
my head, and I'm just hoping that was played. I doubt it, but I hope.
Which one?
Nemesis.
I have to look it up. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think that was on the list, but I mean, honestly, when you consider how long he's been around, he's got like a gigantic list at this point.
Right?
Let's all go back to Thing a Week.
I mean, what was
I'm
the one?
still trying to remember the other song he played on the piano.
Yeah, he played 2 piano songs, and it's difficult to remember which ones they were.
Well, you remembered the one.
I did.
As soon as you said it, I remembered it.
But
I
the
can't
funny
remember
thing is,
the-
because he started as a joke, because he says, I only play piano songs that I wrote, and then he started playing Moonlight Sonata. And that obviously sticks in my head as, oh, he started with Moonlight Sonata. And then I cannot remember for the life of me the song he played. Like, he played like 3 seconds of it, and that's what sticks in my head.
because it's the most memorable.
Yeah, so it was a good gag. And he also introduced Still Alive with One Time I Wrote a Song for a Video Game. Here it is.
He actually did it twice. Incredible.
Yeah, I was surprised he did just the one song.
Want You Gone was never as big of a deal.
It is true, but I could have easily seen him going from one to the other. Or he did a bunch,
yeah.
like as far as the encore goes, he did like 4 different songs, and they were
Yeah.
mostly
I still
audience
think about that
requests.
time he somehow managed to get plagiarized on a cover by a TV show.
Oh god. You know, my favorite story about that, which if I was able to talk to him would be the first thing I would bring up, is the fact that not only did he get plagiarized by freaking Glee, but he also then appeared on an episode of The Good Wife, because the episode of The Good Wife's concept was that the case of the week was that basically a parody of what had happened with Glee, like some
That's
like
bizarre.
it was kind of the episode of The Good Wife was like a rap star got parodied by a random like Fox TV show or something like that was the concept. But during the episode, as an acknowledgement, he guest starred in the jail, like he was a random one-off character just hanging out. And that had to be like, I don't even know how you tell your mom like you're on television in that way. No,
Mom,
remember
I'm
that?
on TV for that time that a major TV show stole from me.
Yeah, remember that time I tried to sue Fox? Well, another TV network thought that was funny and made it into a television episode. No, they don't say my name or anything, but I guest star for like a second, just to
in prison for
acknowledge
a
the
moment.
concept. There was a road where I was supposed to fight bandits. I've lost track of where I'm supposed to go.
There are so many things that look like paths that don't lead anywhere.
Yes, 100% agreed.
In this
But
way, the game is
honestly, Golf Bob, when
completely
you-
true to life.
When you start with that moral and ethical questioning, I was like, what direction is he going here? Because I thought you were going to ask about eating brains, but here we are.
Oh yes, we had a good little sing along. It was very cute.
Also, the censored version of 1st of May, which that was a thing.
Yeah, which
Who
he
brings their
started.
kids to a Jonathan Colton show?
Yeah, he started with, "Are there any kids in the
What's
audience?"
even the
And
point
somebody
of singing that song if you're going to censor it? There isn't a joke anymore.
What's this? What's
Jonathan
that?
Colton song,
Colton.
1st of May, whose fucking chorus is 1st of May, outdoor fucking starts today.
Hugging, outdoor hugging.
It
starts
was
today.
Yeah, that's not a joke anymore. That's just nonsense.
in context, it was kind of funny, but like, who brings their kid to a Jonathan Colton show?
Nerds who never learned things.
Yeah, nerds who are out just completely like outpaced by the most basic social expectations.
Like, one was at least a teenager, but the other one was like single digits age.
Jesus.
I'm always weirded out by the kind of like nerd that's just like, I will expose you to all of the things I loved as a child, and it's like, fuck you, He-Man sucked ass.
It's like He-Man sucked ass. You should not have been watching as many R-rated movies as you were before kindergarten, and the level of the level of like unnecessary sexualization of young women, even in like PG movies, was unacceptable then, and it's not any better now.
Yeah.
Like you could not reliably watch a PG movie without coming across just like big fat naked tits. And I got no problem with the tits. I'm just saying it's a PG movie, man. Come on. Come the fuck
All
on.
in their proper context. Ugh. Okay, my burrito is finished. I am prepared spiritually
That is the
to point
proper
out that I
context.
love this game, but it is like the most unstreamable video game.
What game are we watching?
Legend of Mana.
Oh shit.
Ready?
I don't love this video game.
It's
Ah.
gorgeous. It's got great music. It's kind of interesting
Mhm.
if you've got 30 hours to devote to it. We
That's
don't.
it.
And also, like, the moment to moment is not interesting.
Oh no. The moment to moment in this game is hideous. The amount of transit time involved in doing the most basic character upgrades
The
is
number?
like straight out of EverQuest. You can legitimately lock yourself out of the entire end game by making unthinking decisions in the first 45 minutes of gameplay. Let's see here.
I think it's art.
I love it. It is bar none. Actually, it is the only Square RPG that has grown, in my estimation, since I stopped being a college student, rather than like decreased. Actually, no, that and Final Fantasy 1. The OGFF has actually improved because I used to think it was awful, but now I quite enjoy it. But no, Lam is goddamn masterpiece. Like,
One thing I will say about Legend of Mana is that I appreciate that's not really the game itself, which I do appreciate. It's just, this isn't that. It's just, it is in that club of Japanese games that acknowledged its English localized title. In Japan, this is Seiken Densetsu Legend of Mana.
Oh, sort of like how Resident Evil 6 was Resident
Seven.
Evil Biohazard.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7 was Biohazard 7 Resident Evil, or Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, depending upon your region.
That was really good. I like that.
Also a fun one, Harvest Moon Back to Nature, the PS1 game in Japan, was Bokujo Monogatari Harvest Moon.
nice.
That's cute.
Which means that now they have to make something called Bokujo Monogatari Story of Seasons just to complete this. So Bob, what are you doing?
I recall I was supposed to fight some people on a road.
Bob, you have been playing this for 20 minutes.
He's been playing it for 40 minutes,
34.
actually.
You need to smoke weed, and you need to smoke weed every day.
Smoke weed every day.
At 420?
No,
Bob,
Okay,
you're making
there
this
we go.
very difficult.
I got something.
we're trying to help you, and you
We're
won't
doing
accept our
our
help.
very best, Bob.
Why won't you accept our help? Why won't you accept our love?
Okay, I talked to the right NPC to get something to move forward.
Is this some sort of like remake?
Yes.
It is an remaster that they did a few years ago.
All these backgrounds are shitty, awful. No.
Yeah, they've all been up-resed.
No.
I was not thrilled either.
They look
Also,
so weird, right?
You have to go back to
Like
that
yeah,
all
damn
that,
map.
all that slathery detail.
Do you ever think about entropy? Just the
Yes.
inevitable collapse of all that we know.
Yes, I do actually.
Like over time, we're going to also do that culturally, and everything will collapse into one product.
Unhacks the everything app.
Oh God!
Good lord.
And you've come full circle.
Yes. Now we're back to talking about our favorite dating app.
I am not going to turn the sound on this game until well, I can't turn the sound on because I'm in the voice chat and it would be hellish. But no, I would leave, like, I'm not going to turn the sound on until you get to the Gato Grottos, which has the finest map song in the history of video gaming.
There's a lot of good music in here. Everyone should go check that out.
Yeah, I mean, this
My
was a
neck will
game,
hurt.
I will admit, it came out, it was what, 99?
2000. That was a summer adventure.
My bad. It came out opposite
Dipshit.
Chrono Cross, right?
Yep, right next to Chrono Cross and Threads of Fate. That is a rough hand as far as PS1 Square games.
I mean, I will state that I believed in the hype of Chrono Cross in its time. Like, we played through it all on stream. It is definitely something. It is. It can be bad in retrospect, but at that
I'm gonna be
summer-
real with you. I wasn't thrilled with it at the time. I hadn't even played Chrono Trigger. I just heard Chrono Trigger was cool.
And I will tell you that I was thrilled with it at the time. I was one of the faithful that said that it was better than Final Fantasy IX. And I kind of.
You were one of the faithful that was ready for Square to just, like, poop in your mouth, and that was gonna be fine.
That sounds disgusting. I'm very
I
upset
didn't
about
like
that.
Final Fantasy IX very much at the time.
Yes.
I also
Big
did
of
not
it.
like Final Fantasy IX. That said, I can't say I've played much of it.
You don't seem the type.
I mean, I tried it. Like, I gave it a shot. I think I made it like 30 minutes.
But you
in,
were
which is-
drunk on Jet Set Radio.
which is more than I made. That I made it into. Where the fuck was it? Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII. I did not even make it out of the starting area. I just threw up my hands and said, "Nope." I tried.
You should have said
Damn it, I
that.
tried.
I got FF8 and Grandia for Christmas, expecting that, like, not knowing what Grandia was, and expecting to be very excited about FF8 because I had really liked FF7.
That was
I
a
finished one of
very
those
common
games.
experience. Also, Grandia is so fucking good. Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
it's just so fun.
Of the 3 PS1 Final Fantasy games, I got farthest in 8. In 7, I never got past the first disc because I didn't want Eris to die.
Aw.
Aw.
You just spare her frozen in this moment in time.
I mean, that's vaguely the concept of the Final Fantasy, whatever the first remake, which I think was just called a remake.
Remake.
Yes.
And 9, I spent months gazing longingly at the title screen because my PlayStation's controller port had been broken.
Oh, that's rough.
But then when I finally got to play it, I just didn't like learning skills from equipment. It's all so
Yeah, some people
wild,
get real hung up
extremely-
on that. It was never a problem for me, but I definitely know people like that.
But
also
you
why I
are
was
literally
extremely
built
disappointed
different.
by Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Oh wait, that what? Good Final
Tactics
Fantasy
Advance does
Tactics?
the same learn skills from equipment thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not like Final Fantasy Tactics, which has.
Oh, Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my favorite games ever.
Oh my god.
Disgusting. That's a very you response, though, Katniss.
Look,
Pretty calm.
look. You Final Fantasy Tactics people, it's fine. I don't mind. Like you can get married and everything, but I just don't want you teaching in my schools. There are children in there. Like I remember.
I like tactics to a reasonable extent. I think it's a little overrated.
I
I like
remember
the fight.
watching. There's a fight in there where you fight like one. Where you only have one dude, right? And you got to fight like a guy who has two phases. And I watched as the dude playing it ran around the map for 47 minutes, just charging up like Goku on every turn. and then ran to the boss and hit him twice. Once to defeat phase 1, once to defeat phase 2.
Yeah, it's a
And-
weak rough fight.
I remember failing failing to find a word that could describe just how much bullshit that was. Even the word bullshit failed to encompass it. Later on, I learned the phrase, "This is nothing except for what bullshit is," and I think that would have been enough. At the moment, I was too young, really, just barely more than a boy. Give candy, always give candy.
This Final Fantasy shit gets serious.
Listen,
I cannot think
you're
of a
among
less
millennials,
serious
so
thing.
like many of us are willing to like fight and die over the Final Fantasy opinions.
Oh yeah,
Let me
That
tell
is-
you my opinions on Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
And many of
It was a
you-
disappointing birthday when I saw that one.
That
I'll
always-
say it. I'll say
that
it.
always
I
sounds-
liked that movie. That was fun.
I like that
did
movie
see the
too,
movie,
but-
didn't realize it was Final Fantasy until many, many years later.
I
Final Fantasy is in the title.
Yeah, but people name things all the time without actually being connected.
that's true.
Could have
I'm thinking about every time Fanboy tells the story of seeing it on his birthday, it sounds like a goddamn. It sounds like a goddamn Aqua Teen punchline.
Yeah, it's the
Except
worst
it would be
birthday
about,
ever.
like,
It's got,
Solid.
it's got that sad sack meatwad quality.
I could just
It
like,
really
hear,
does.
I could hear Meatwad saying that like it's like I saw that at my birthday. That was the worst birthday ever.
Exactly.
That's Jake
Yeah.
said it was the
It is
only
fa-
thing we were allowed to
Except
do.
an Aqua Teen would be about like the movie Showa or something. You know?
No, I know that it was something that my dad took us to the movies to see, which was bizarre because I was too old for that at that point. But I remember the animation being fascinating because it was really, really advanced for the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they
And then at the end
and
they do
you're-
Thriller because they were all kind of weird looking.
I don't remember that.
they almost bankrupted Square, like getting things like the hair perfect.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
they basically.
Well, Aki Ross is going to be a digital actress. She'll be in everything. So
They really believed in that, and that's beautiful.
Aki Ross is not even being like AI generated porn. Aki Ross these days.
I was going to say
Yeah.
the funniest thing to me about the Spirits Within is how it might be the most important thing that happened to Square, and they will never ever acknowledge it again. like you get cameos from freaking like Final Fantasy 2 in like every third like thing Square releases. They will never acknowledge that the Spirits Within happened ever again.
Oh
I have
yes.
to
I mean, it
imagine.
nearly destroyed them, so I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing about Final Fantasy movies. Earlier this year, I watched Advent Children for the first time in like 15 years. I think AV, I think you were privy to that thread. And it was kind of mind-blowing because all of the action in that movie is the only thing that's going for it. And it's also completely weightless and pointless. Nothing anybody does means anything until the final fight where Cloud gets stabbed a shitload of times and you're like, oh, he actually looks hurt. That has not happened up until this point. Nobody has been hurt in a fight. The things that you do to hurt people. And I watched that whole movie, and then I switched over to YouTube and watched somebody's ridiculously overwrought Ocarina of Time fan fiction. And its fights are so much better than Final Fantasy VIII Advent Children's. It was kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I saw this and I'm like, okay, so should Advent Children exist in this era when dudes making their Ocarina of Time fan fiction will do something with actual weight and purpose and thematic thrust even for a goddamn OOT fanfic? I don't know. It kind of got me. It kind of got to me. As watching Link and Ganondorf fight was, I don't know. You got the impression they actually cared about what was happening, which is not something you can say happened at any point in Advent Children. I don't know. It was such a nothing movie. Spirits Within was at least a something movie. Advent Children had.
I'm not willing to go that far. It's a pretty nothing movie.
I mean, Spirits Within is just 100% let's fight angry ghosts. And
yeah, but
whatever.
I kind of like the idea that what if there was what if the entire planet died and their ghosts hit another planet and they were super pissed off about it?
What if the planet died and nobody told me?
Yeah. God. I still think about that line at least once a month.
Not with the ghosts.
Spirit Pictures did live long enough to do one segment of the Animatrix.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, was that the one where it's the 3D animated one right at the beginning, where the only really memorable thing about it is that there are these two people fighting blindfolded, and they both peek at each other's junk.
Yeah.
The things you remember.
That was all that was worth
Flight
remembering.
of the Osiris.
I mean, it did stand out.
Oh, the Animatrix.
God, well, the
Animatrix
Animatrix and the Spirits Within, I was just going to say, both of them are so much of their era of how there were certain properties that you were expecting to be just absolute juggernauts, and somehow that did not pan out entirely.
I mean, The Matrix was huge.
Oh yeah,
right?
and for that matter, so was Final Fantasy. It's just a matter of it maybe didn't work out in all ways. They got Joker 2'd.
I actually kind of want to see that one. It sounds like it's bad and boring and slow, and that just makes me more interested. I don't think I'll go and see it in the theater,
It has
though.
the dignity to sound at least deeply misguided.
Yeah.
I mean, if it really
everything
was
I've
designed to just make everybody who thought they identify with the Joker have a bad day, I'm all for it.
Yeah, from everything I've read, it's literally
You learned
just,
the wrong things.
It's literally just 2.5 hours of Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix just screaming at Joker's biggest fans. You fucking idiots, you absolute rubes, I fucking hate you. Which I appreciate,
Cannot imagine
'Cause,
why
like-
I fully co-sign anything that essentially revolves around looking at hardcore fans of something and saying you are fucking rubes that don't understand anything. Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
How
Yeah.
did you get
I
this
really
so
liked
wrong?
I really liked the movie Joker too.
Joker as well.
I don't think not Joker 2. You know what I fucking mean. The
Yeah,
original.
no, that's why I said Joker as well.
No, I just really love slow burn pressure cooker movies where everything just like feels super tense. The scene in particular where his friends visit him in his apartment, and you spend the entire time going, maybe he won't do it. Maybe he won't do it. I guess he won't do it. And then he does it. You're like, oh shit. That's great. I love that.
I believe he did it.
Yeah. It turns out he did do it.
He said it's Morbid time.
He did morb.
He did in
That
fact
film
morb.
got morbed.
Morb or be morbed.
It's a morb world out there.
I don't want to be more.
Wasn't ready to morb.
The assassination of Jared Leto by the coward Robert Morb.
Forgot he played Morbius, Jesus.
Yep. It's incredible to me that Joker 2 has made less than Morbius and has almost as many bad reviews as the Oogie Loves adventure.
Oh, it actually came out?
Yeah, it did.
It came out last
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, it came out last weekend and everyone realized this is a goddamn musical.
Also,
I
it's
thought
somehow...
everybody knew that.
I didn't.
It was announced.
People weren't
as
ready
that
to
shit.
believe that it was a musical.
And it also
It stars
somehow...
Lady Gaga. What were you expecting?
It
Are you
somehow
not
came out
going to,
I've
like,
been in plenty
hire-
of movies they didn't have her singing in.
I've only seen
House
The
of
Star is
Gucci.
Born. She definitely sings in that.
You got to see House of Gucci. She's amazing in House of Gucci.
All right, I'll check it out. But like, I don't know, like if you're getting like one of like the most renowned singers of the modern age in your movie, you'd kind of be an idiot to not have her sing something.
Oh, Bob, please hit something instead of just swinging at the air for no reason.
It's weird.
Ariana Grande is
Control's
in it.
kind of weird.
Yeah,
I read that.
I realized, no wait, that's a musical.
But yeah,
Wait.
people were not willing to believe that Joker 2 was a musical, and that's the best joke of all.
Truly.
And then
Joker's the one true Joker's trick has finally been played.
I saw
God,
people try to argue that like oh, musicals are supposed to be happy, and it's like none of you are
Sorry.
privy
Some of you
to
have
it
never
all.
watched very many musicals, have you?
Sweeney
Like,
Todd
I
is
can-
the nicest movie I've ever seen. Musical.
Like like the one with like the guy with like the mask on his face.
Phantom
Like
of
the-
the Opera?
Yes.
I mean, and everybody knows.
That's what I thought.
Everybody knows the famous French musical, The Not at All Miserable. Like
The Good
that was a good one.
Or
Joker
Rent.
2, Jolie, I'll do.
Everybody dies from AIDS.
Fucking Rent, just the nicest, happiest musical you've ever seen.
Right?
There is a part of me that's just totally enraptured by something that seems to have been purpose-built to fail from, like, Word 1 being allowed to reach theaters before anyone paying for it realized how much it was built to fail.
I mean, again, I was trying to say it earlier, but somehow nothing else came out this weekend, too. Like, it failed opposite nothing. like, literally, there were no other movies. Like, if you're somebody who goes every week, this was your only choice, and you said no.
I think I will go watch something a second time.
Yeah. I better go see that Beetlejuice again.
Oh God,
Beetlejuice.
movies
Hey,
are so
I-
awful right
The
now.
only reason I knew there was a new Joker movie out is because I went to see Beetlejuice this weekend.
Oh God, Michael
There
Keaton
was
is
Beetle and there was
1,000.
Juice.
It
Oh,
was an
uh,
adventure.
I remain just endlessly charmed that this film was allowed to happen, and that it was every bit as bad as anyone would have guessed just from the notion Joker 2, and then, no wait, listen, also it's a musical.
Starring
Yeah,
Lady Gaga.
Oh
That's the least offensive thing that was involved in that sentence.
yeah. Gina Davis still alive.
Yeah,
Not-
she had an unmentioned cameo in the movie. I was surprised because I didn't see her. So now I feel like I need to rewatch it just to see that.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't think I will. I'm just saying. You know, when it
Yeah,
comes on streaming, maybe.
What
Yeah,
is this?
Yeah, then you can just fast forward to where she is.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta ask. What is this horrible little thing that's following you around with the big nose? I hate him.
His name is. Oh yeah, he's that. He's like an annoying little egg thing.
A horrible little fucker.
Oh god, there's so many just atrocious secondary characters here, and it's not X-Pac heat either. Like they actually make you want to be annoyed by these characters, and it's a success.
Yeah, they took the lesson of what was the character's name for Trials of Mana, Charlie, whichever one that talked like Wiz all the time, and they're like,
Charlotte.
what if we make 7 more characters like that?
Those unaware, X-Pac heat refers to an idea in wrestling where a heel is not being booed for the reason of, oh, I hate that guy. It's, oh, please get off my screen.
Yeah, it's like I will do anything. It's like I will change the channel and watch Murder She Wrote.
The new one? No, wait. It was a new Columbo, isn't it?
It's a new
Maybe.
Columbo. Why?
Was it Columbo or I thought there was a new Matlock?
Yeah, it's
Matlock,
Matlock.
my bad.
All I know is that 1980s Mid-South wrestling is on Peacock, and I will never again watch any media that predates the reign of George Bush the First.
I personally would rather watch Murder She Wrote than wrestling.
That's fair. That's fair. Angela Lansbury can carry a scene.
And she can pile drive
that's-
like no other.
That's true.
She had
I feel
she had-
bad that my first mental association of Murder, She Wrote is like one of the most deranged message board discussions I ever saw.
Okay.
Because it was like people, someone like putting forth the argument that mysteries were an inherently flawed genre, except for Murder, She Wrote.
Where was? Please tell me this was on please tell me this was on the Gaff or something.
No, it's where you think it was. Don't worry about it.
God.
Oh no!
Man, that sounds
oh no! It
amazing.
could have been. Oh Lord! Now I have to sit here and think about who I think it was.
I'm just gonna.
It's no one that you would immediately call to mind.
Oh,
I'm just
that's
gonna
good.
like throw a name out there. Diplo.
No, way predates that.
Oh hey, the pirate penguins! I love these guys. Also, I forgot it is not in fact the Gato Grottos that has the best map theme in the game. It is in fact Lumina, City of Twilight.
Ah.
The Gato Grottos theme can eat my ass and call it groceries.
Wow. Intense, but I appreciate the hustle.
Well,
How is Gato spelled in there? Is it like Godo? Like
yeah,
that weird
Gato Grottos. The
Gato?
Like Spanish cat.
Like a
I was gonna
cat.
say like there are cat people in this game, but not what you're picturing.
You have no idea what I'm picturing.
I know what you're picturing.
You can make an educated guess. But you don't know my mind.
You know, the only man who knows your mind is Bubba Sparks.
He doesn't either.
Can't believe you would deny the power of a man who was in Def Jam Fight for New York.
Oh God. Oh yes. The man who brought us Ms. New Booty.
That's beautiful.
What a time that was.
Is Bubba Sparks like? I need to like look up Bubba Sparks now because there's this tiny portion of my brain that's like saying he didn't become a Kid Rock, did he? No, he wouldn't have. Would
I
he?
don't know, man.
I would not feel any confidence in remembering anything about Bubba Sparks post 2005.
As is, let's see.
All
Let's
I know is that sometimes I just wonder. I wonder how many tracks just looping the booty rocking everywhere hook. Like you could just lay each of them a quarter beat off from the other until you created something that would destroy the human psyche.
I do feel like I could just sort of like mix together that and the short like fucking sample from the Boondocks that's just booty butt cheeks and just overlay those over each other.
Oh yeah, that's
Maximum
that's what we
booty.
need.
All right.
We need something that will create shock waves that will render the human brain perfectly smooth, like a
All right.
boneless,
Booty
skinless
singularity.
chicken breast.
His last album came out in 2022. He is still doing what he loves, apparently.
He's
I
on that
mean,
grind.
It charted nowhere.
Oh yeah, no, charted nowhere.
It was
but,
the third in a row to chart nowhere.
yeah, but I don't know. Like, I feel like if you enjoy what you're doing,
I mean
Like,
that
he's-
implies a love of the game, so I can't blame
Yeah,
him on
like-
that.
like if he just likes making music, then as far as I'm concerned, he can do it till the day he dies.
Putting this in general here because I'm not gonna lie. Bubba Sparks in 2008 looks like he's about to do 12 minutes with Terry Gordy.
That is a face, man.
And it's a
And what is he
face.
wearing?
It's some sort of bright red printed cardigan over a bright red polo.
So it's a choice, to be sure.
He's
So
got
I'd like to just say how much I appreciate that I just put Terry Bam Bam Gordy into Google, and the first thing it returned was an image of an action figure of him.
I'm so happy about this. Yep, there it is. That's what we need to see. We need to see the action figure of Terry Bam Bam Gordy.
I feel like we
Perhaps-
lost Chromes.
Perhaps the most perfectly ugly individual who's ever lived.
He is not he is not aesthetic, as the kids would say.
He is not. I would say he is perfect execution of an aesthetic, of a miracle violence connection aesthetic.
God, the Miracle Violence Connection is one of the great. It's like easily top 3 best fucking tag team names ever.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Nah, man. Just
Do we get a frame of reference for a past life, or do
No.
I need to Google that myself?
Of what thing?
The photo in general.
the photo. Oh, okay. The photo of Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Or oh wait, no, this is in the general chat. Are you not in the general
The
chat?
thing that's in general is Bubba Sparks.
That's Bubba Sparks. And I'm trying to find the most Terry Gordy picture I could put.
That isn't his action figure.
That isn't his action figure. Okay. Here, I've got a picture of him from the Pro Wrestling Illustrated cover.
We're talking about a different person here.
Yeah, this is Terry Gordy down below. And my argument is that the fella above is powerfully channeling the fella below.
Ah, okay. I see that. Yes.
I don't know. Like
There's Bam Bam energy there.
there is, but like I would say that Bubba Sparks in that picture at least seems very, very subdued, calmed, and the guy below is possessed by a frantic energy. He cannot-
That's a good point.
Well, Terry
there.
Gordy
That's
is
a very good point.
clearly taking shots for a fucking promo, whereas Bubba Sparks appears to have been caught candidly.
But no, there's a certain placid quality to Bubba Sparks there.
That's
Whereas, you know, Terry's carrying the scars of growing up on Bad Street, USA.
Of being part of the Miracle Violence Connection.
Oh man.
And God bless Dr. Death Steve Williams as well.
Yeah. God bless these boys.
And both of them died horribly young. That's
Oh
awful.
yeah, no, yeah. These are both gentlemen where I look and I realize I've outlived them both, and I just
Dr. Death
he-
got to 49. You haven't outlived him yet.
oh okay.
He-
He lived much
the-
longer than I think he did.
Yeah.
I lost him.
Remember when he was briefly Dr. Life Steve Williams?
No, that sounds like a Christian. Sounds like a Christian period.
It was specifically something he did because he had beaten cancer, and so it's like, oh, I'm Dr. Life now.
I love that. I love
That makes a certain amount of sense. It's like how
That works.
it's like how Hellraiser briefly rebranded as Heavenraiser when he survived like a brain injury.
There you go.
Hmm.
That time.
That's when you get to basically do whatever that celebrates the fact that you're still alive.
Yeah, like you're allowed
Yeah.
to just be sort of thrilled that you're still going.
It's like the time Rampage Jackson had a psychotic episode because he'd been up for 4 days on energy drinks.
Hey,
And,
Goggle Bob, I want to bring your attention to the incredible person in the stream chat right now.
Ooh,
Who
what's
is,
this? Oh,
who
the
is
Uptown
incredible
Betrayer.
person?
I don't know, but they have introduced themselves with the fantastic line, "Want to see her naked?"
Oh, you know what? There are a great number of people I would
who's
like to
her
see
in this?
naked.
We do not know yet. No, we need to find out.
I'm not clicking that.
Can
their
you press the
name
button for
is-
more information?
You'll
Perhaps
never
the
find out.
greatest name I have ever seen. They are one Uptown Betrayer.
Uptown Betrayer.
There's nothing fucking rhymes with betrayer.
Slayer.
You can mispronounce bodega.
I need to go play some fighting later.
Uptown Betrayer stabbed me in the back when I was in line at the bodega.
I only within the past
it's real
week
sweaty.
learned that Fighting Layer is a completely different kind of game than Fighting EX Layer.
Yep.
Yeah. They were just really making it simple on
Arca just sort of
everybody.
does whatever.
Anyway, I banned them. 'cause
Good
I'm
plan.
awesome.
Here you
Well,
go.
now I'll never know what she looks like naked.
What does she look like?
You could have clicked the link, or you can transcribe it from the video VOD. These are all options available to you.
This
But,
goddamn
but
eggplant
the
is
fact
kicking
that you're
my
not
ass.
willing to take these options tells me you don't actually care.
I
what
can't
she looks like
exactly
naked.
get at the video VOD now, can I?
No,
yeah, you
what I'm
can.
hearing
Just-
what I'm hearing right now is cowardice.
yeah.
You disgust me.
Yeah, actually, no. I know this. This is like
I mean, you have the internet.
the number of times I have moved fanboy to just type the word dreadful in our group chat and then disappear for hours. It has single-handedly added
It's a very
dreadful
versatile
to
word.
my. It has single-handedly added the word dreadful to my like personal diction. I say it all the time now.
All of my self-chosen online names have been from after the period that I survived cancer, so I can't really do a switcheroo like that. Like those wrestlers
You
did.
still can because no one gets to like call out a cancer survivor.
Yeah. What are they gonna do?
Facts.
What are they gonna do? Like demand to see your hospital records?
You just like sit there and be like, no, I'm tired. I'm tired of these cancer survivors getting it easy, just because they survived cancer.
Getting it easy. Just being walked into the restaurant right this way, Sir Madame. Don't associate with these plebeians out here.
It's like, I am declaring fatwa against cancer survivors.
Goggle Bob, why are you attacking Pokemon?
I mean, everything in this game is adorable. We know this.
Yeah,
Even when they're
no,
like lighting
that's-
me on fire repeatedly.
that's just an of mana. That's just an of mana tradition. Is like the enemies are always adorable.
I mean, I will state my one of my favorite enemies in all of video games, which I don't think we've seen on any of the mana streams, but it's the duck wearing an army helmet for no reason.
Oh yeah.
It has appeared since I think the first mana game. It's definitely in there. And it's just a duck wearing an army helmet, and depending on the game, he throws grenades at you.
God,
And I
DC,
just can't
are
get mad
you-
at him.
says, I know we're ostensibly
find me
here
a
for
better
Goggle Bob's
character.
struggles, but can someone remind him that he's had a full super meter for 30 minutes?
Goggle Bob.
Do a Shinryuken.
What button do I have to press? Probably one of the L's, isn't it?
Dude,
Elves.
Shinryu. I love it.
No, now I got shrunk.
Oh, I've been shrunk.
That
Quote,
sounds like
got
a personal
a
problem.
quote, ample vigor.
Yeah, no idea how to
I
do
mean,
a
it's
super
not
special.
winter yet. Moving on.
It's like I must warn you. Everybody in the club is getting tipsy.
Everybody? That can't possibly be right.
Everybody. It brings me no pleasure to announce this.
What?
We're terribly sorry that everybody in the club is getting tipsy.
Everybody.
We wish you could have put a
why
stop
would
to it.
I have gone to the club if I wasn't going to get tipsy? Everybody in the club should be tipsy as of this moment.
Fanboy,
I would say
like,
that
you of
Fanboy
all
coming out
people
as
would be the one who's like standing in the corner of the club going, "Look at these idiots getting tipsy." Not me though.
Why would Fanboy be at the club?
Can't believe you think I just look down on random people at the club.
Yeah.
That is true. You would not be like that. You would be like,
Fanboy would be blaming himself for the chain of decisions that led to him being at the club in the first place.
Fanboy would be at the club just sort of looking around going, "I see everybody's tipsy. I bet I could have stopped this if I just tried harder."
Doesn't need to ask what kind of club is this.
It's actually
Not club.
it's actually a book club.
I was gonna say Hearts Club. Just a weekly card game.
Yeah. Come together.
We're all
play the
playing
game.
bridge.
Okay,
we're
then I
all
can understand why not everybody's tipsy.
Time to play the game.
Tell me about the game.
I'm now just imagining, like, a procession of 80-year-olds starting their game of bridge with fucking time to play the game.
Hell
It's
yes.
gonna happen. This is gonna be about 40 years from now.
This is too aesthetically powerful for me. I need this.
I am heavy debt. No way you can pay me. It's all right there.
That's that's the part that I play after they lose and they've lost their goddamn shirts. Due to my incredible knowledge of the game Bridge, whose rules I definitely know.
Let's play some Backrack next.
That's what we need.
I
That's what we
love
need.
that the you can tell what's a high roller game by virtue of how much that it has zero skill at all. Not necessarily now, but like back in the day, like old school high roller games are all games that just have no skill at all, no strategy
absolutely.
whatsoever.
Oh, yeah,
Baccarat is just Baccarat is like it. Whatever happens, man. You didn't have a choice in this.
Whatever.
The thing I love
happens.
about Baccarat is that like all of the high roller rules that are still there. It's like the only game on the casino floor where they'll let you touch the dealer's cards. You can.
It's not like you
touch
could
them.
affect it.
You can't. No, but you're like it's traditionally Actually-
Like Baccarat is it's a pure old money game. It's like money
Mhm.
doesn't mean anything to me. Whatever happens here, it doesn't matter. The thrill only comes from the fact that anything could happen.
yeah. And yet
Only-
this was enough. This was enough that like entire chunks of the royal family just ruined themselves economically on it.
I'd say Book Casino Royale is about a game of Baccarat.
Yeah, it is. Which is unspeakably boring.
One of my favorite things I've ever seen, like in terms of like the most fixated YouTubers I've ever seen, was like a dude that just like this dude had hundreds of videos and they were all just James Bond media of all shapes and sizes.
Incredible.
And it, like truly incredible. He's still active, still putting stuff out. Actually reasonably decent at videos. It's just I can't imagine that level of focus. I, as a human being, cannot imagine that level of focused devotion to one frame. One of my favorite bits, like I watched these and it's like he's reading through all the fucking books and he's like, yeah, some of these books suck because it's just like, oh, you're just like a really weird old guy in a you sound like a weird old guy in a bar who's just really angry about America for some reason. It's a very I respect levels of fixation that the man showed. I have nothing but I have nothing but good vibes for this British man, politely very excited about all things James Bond.
He's like sitting
Oh, so
there.
he's British. That actually matters a lot in this scenario.
Yeah, he's British, but he's also like not doing it in like that extremely middle-aged British fashion. Like that,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I need to be clear on this. There's like a kind of British middle-aged man whose obsession with James Bond is completely understandable at all times.
Mhm.
When you aren't acting middle-aged, like you don't. I'm not even speaking of like. I'm speaking of being middle-aged of spirit. If you aren't being middle-aged of spirit, then the obsession with James Bond becomes much more unique and curious.
Yeah, no, James Bond is absolutely a fantasia for the middle-aged male mind. Like it is a specific kind of fantasia where you are too high rent for like just straight up like just movies. I mean, books where like a cowboy or a cop just straight up beats up like the teenagers who laugh at you when you walk down the street.
Yeah.
But you are not so highbrow that you have to like read these works of great literature that are all about like gray-haired college professors banging the shit out of co-eds. James Bond is right there in the middle.
He is for exactly that kind of person. I did enjoy that because it allowed me to figure out what titles of James Bond stories they have simply never used.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to the next one, which I demand be called Risico, simply because they were just running out of actual ones, and then they named and even before they ran out, they had started naming things after like Ian Fleming's house.
Incredible. When what is the word here? The day will come when finally someone has the courage to bring to life Ian Fleming's line where a lady has a butt like a 12-year-old boy.
Is that something he?
That is a direct quote from Ian Fleming himself. I believe Raider has memorized it and can deliver it on demand.
That feels very Raider to me.
That feels like like okay, Michael Crichton, for example, did not have a lot of ways to describe boobs, so he would always just bust out perfect. That was like the word that he would
I
use
do
to
enjoy
describe
boobs. These
tits.
boobs were perfect.
Yes.
I like the idea that you're saying it with a question mark. These boobs were perfect.
Yeah,
Sure.
you check your notes. Perfect.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
natural
sure.
enough.
I got it.
Frankly,
I like to
I would
think-
say most boobs are perfect, but using that specific analogy to describe an ass just raises so many questions. All of them terrible.
Well, it's written so you can imagine whatever is perfect to you.
Yeah,
So
exactly. See, Michael Crichton,
Schrodinger's
for,
ass.
like all the ways he was a hack, had really cracked the cheat code on that one.
Hong Kong Fooey, number one.
Her
super
perfect
guy.
ass bounced perfectly. Or it didn't bounce,
who's
whatever it
this?
is you're into.
Yeah.
Good news. Our ban evader is trying to come back.
Boy, somebody just really wants us to see them naked, I guess.
Yeah,
no.
you need to see it.
Yeah, no, they are really excited about this ass.
Hong Kong
let's see.
Fooey, number one super guy.
Band.
Hong Kong
Hong
Fooey.
Kong, quicker than the human eye. Smile.
I shall report.
Hong Kong Fooey, an example of like a specific kind of a specific era in the enjoyment of martial arts cinema.
Mhm.
Definitely either a response to or an attempt to capitalize on the period where your modal kung fu movie fan was a black preteen.
Which does make me think that I want to watch The Last Dragon again.
Oh
Is
yeah.
that not
100%.
Last
still
Dragon is the
the
shit.
case? Are we out of that era?
So
It was a larger demographic at one point. Sadly, the kung fu movie has fallen out of favor.
Yeah, it has been replaced by anime.
It's not a bad thing, but it is a different thing.
A different thing. Luckily, though,
I think
the
it's at least a
anime
little
is-
bit of a bad thing.
Luckily, though, it's like if you ever find yourself having to have a conversation with, like, I don't know, just a teenage male from a teenage male anywhere, you just start talking about you just start talking about Shonen Jump series, and you won't go wrong.
You'll find one. You'll find one.
Yeah,
It won't
it's
always be the same one, but you'll find one.
and you'll just sit there and you'll talk about DBZ or Naruto or fucking Jujutsu Kaisen for a few minutes, and it's like, all right, this is great.
I can
We-
get
we-
through this conversation. I can make this work.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would enjoy that conversation potentially. I've watched all of those.
See,
I've heard of
That's the
all
cheat
of
code.
those. Jiku says, I'm pretty sure the game starts you with ST mapped to one of the trigger buttons. It'll be in the menu either way. I forget what ST stands for, but it's many, many weapon arts, big flashy iframes, kind of easy to miss with sometimes.
Yeah, it's the super that you were talking about earlier.
But
Well,
how
the
do I
Jiku-
make it happen?
There's an attempt to help you find it.
I do miss when the Shaw Brothers every week were releasing 5 films that it violated every human safety standard in the world to produce an incredible action scene attached to a threadbare plot.
yes.
OSHA what?
Threadbare plot.
No.
I think she was asking where the original part for that conversation came from.
Oh, just thinking back to Kung Fu Flicks.
No. I said OSHA what? As in
Oh,
safety
OSHA, that makes
and-
sense.
Sorry, yeah.
We are all sentenced to watching Wheels on Meals.
Wheels on Meals. Oh my god.
I've somehow never seen that movie, but I've watched that
Oh,
fight
that's okay.
scene at least 80 times. It's
No,
so
that-
fucking good.
It is by far the best part of the movie. Like, let's be real. Like, the comedy of Sammo Hung is one of the. It's not even an acquired taste. You're either born liking it or you're not.
I love the Shaw Brothers logo just because of how much it's just like this and WB's logo are the same. I'm sorry. I don't know who stole from who, but one of you stole from the other.
Yup.
Don't know.
Only one of them filmed in Shawscope though. So
Yeah, that's all that matters.
oh,
I love this ape's shoes.
God, Shaw. I don't know, man. Shaw Brothers movies are so good.
So good.
I mean, like, even the. It's I don't know. It's just.
I
Even
think
the
a lot
mediocre ones,
about how
man.
like the 36th Chamber of Shaolin is like the only movie good enough that it wouldn't be overshadowed by 36 Chambers.
What's that now?
I'm saying 36th Chamber of Shaolin is like the only action movie good enough that it wouldn't be completely overshadowed by like Enter the 36th Chamber.
Yeah.
Those are two different movies.
No, one of them is a Wu-Tang Clan album.
That ain't nothing to fuck with.
Enter the Wu-Tang parentheses 36 Chambers.
Yep.
Very specifically, them shouting out to 36th Chamber of Shaolin.
36 Chamber of Shaolin. Ah, God. Well, it has
Incredible.
one of my favorite line readings of all time, which is, "I still have my swords." He's just so pleased with himself in that moment.
I do love how like the entire career arc of RZA is immediately understandable just from the second that the Wu-Tang Clan forms.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce RZA?
Yeah, the
it's
RZA.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yes, I have been humiliated for getting it wrong. So
Alright.
you just
It
got
was
off
like the
super
one
easy.
time that I got to humiliate Beat about that.
Yeah, they could see that burn from space.
Yeah, no, it was deeply upsetting.
Listen, it was in the context of me leading up to suggesting Man with the Iron Fists for Outer Heaven, so
Yep.
Oh yeah, no man.
something I do not regret in the slightest.
Oh yeah, no, that was great. That was a fucking great Outer Heaven.
The Man with the Iron Fist has a perfect opening where like shit just gets crazier and crazier and crazier, and then the beat hits. It's like, wait.
I feel like I would like that. That's one of those movies that like, oh, allegedly he wanted to do like a 4-hour cut of it, and I would absolutely sit there and watch that 4-hour cut
Would watch
of
it.
Man with the Iron Fists.
Oh yeah, I would watch 4-hour Man with the Iron Fists. The only extended cut I want more is the 3-hour cut of 13th Warrior.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, the bosses in this game are gorgeous.
Like so much of this
The-
game
the-
is just gorgeous.
The
Like, just
aesthetic,
awesome.
the core aesthetic behind the game is completely unimpeachable. Like, this is the Saga team produced, like with this and Saga Frontier 2, that unit of Square produced the games on the PS1 that have aged the best in terms of looks.
I would put Saga Frontier 1 in there too. I mean, it is.
I love Saga Frontier 1's look, but it's a much stranger, less approachable look than Legend of Mana or Saga
I'll give
Frontier
you
2.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Deliberately, it's a very alien-looking game, and I love it, but it is less of a crowd pleaser.
Yeah. No. Legend of Mana has an almost like, Jim Henson like sensibility behind it.
Yeah, I get you.
You know,
You could imagine this as coming from as involving Dark Crystal adjacent.
yeah, the
people.
design sensibility. There's like I said, a sensibility, not necessarily an aesthetic, not anything, but just a similar approach to the fundamentals of character design.
Yeah,
And I especially love
and the
what they
concepts
do-
of fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Like, look at that. That's a great bit of like all the smaller apes carrying off the big ape that you defeated.
You got Dragoned.
I especially love what the big boss mobs, their animations, the way they use layers of sprite work is brilliant. Because each of those can move independently.
Yeah.
Because
I really like that too.
There was a period, especially in the early '90s, of an obsession with like sprites on screen and multi-layering parallax. And it's like this was the one team to carry those ideas into the late '90s and see how far you could push them.
Mhm.
One of my favorite things, one of the most ill-fated consoles of the mid '90s was the successor to the PC Engine, the PCFX. A system that was supposed to come out in 1992 allegedly got delayed like 2 years on the basis of, well, the PC Engine's still selling pretty well, so we'll just put this on the back burner and wait. Then the PS1 and Saturn come out and they're like, fuck, okay, put it out, but it was designed to compete with what existed in 1992. So it's entirely a system built around like scrolling independent background layers. Like that is its biggest hardware trick and the only thing it's really designed to do.
You know, to your earlier point about how design sensibility, not design, but like how design and how like which games get budget has been driven by the assumption that the tech first consumer will drive trends forever.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I think one of the damn shames of video game design was that for, I would say, the first 30 years of commercial video game design, there was artistic movements were never given room to breathe. They were never given.
They were fads and trends. There was not a movement.
Exactly. Like the idea of using multiple scrolling parallax backgrounds. You know, there's no, that would be a very interesting like aesthetic principle to bring forward for you know.
There's a lot of things you can do with that are unexplored because it was no longer cutting edge technology. It was old and it was left behind.
Yes.
And a similar principle, pre-rendered backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more that you can do with those that we're not going to see back because it's old. It is a mark of old.
Yes. And I think one of the key, and then there came a point where there came the point where being, you know, self-consciously referential, you know, that sort of you know, postmodern sense came in, and I think that will, how can I put this? It makes it you know, a lot of this stuff be a little bit less of a lost art, but because it is pastiche, because it is a postmodern,
it is imitation.
It is imitation. Yes, exactly. It is still not the same as that initial, you know, the movement.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these. You look at something that was produced contemporarily, and like the choices are made with the idea of I'm trying to make the most impressive version of this.
Exactly.
And I'm straining against what the tools will allow me to do. And if you attempt to call back to that now, you produce something where it's like, well, the tools will let me do anything. The changes are born of the constraint of trying to look like something that was straining against something, an imagined hardware limit that no longer exists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfectly said. An artificial limitation, you know. Mm-hmm. It is the difference between, you know, a pair of $400 Polo Ralph Lauren, you know, combat pants, and the actual Belgian army combat pants from like 1958 that their design team, you know, their design team recreated or not recreated, but you know what I mean. Their design team iterated on.
Their cues were taken from.
Yes. This does not make one superior to the other, but it does
make them materially different.
Exactly. Because the design of one, as you said, is about fulfilling a functional goal with material constraints, and the other is about whereas the other the constraints no longer exist. All choices are purely aesthetic.
The choices exist solely for the desired outcome, rather than the desired outcome being like the outcome being dictated by the constraints placed upon you.
And not to get too broad, not to get too out there, but I feel that it is constraints that lead to great art. That any
100%.
any attempt to make a wholly unconstrained piece of art is just going to lead to megalopolis.
That's presuming you produce anything.
Yes, presuming you do not end up with the thief and the cobbler situation, where what you have is, is a guy spending the back half of his life trying to, just trying to make each
craft his platonic ideal.
Exactly. Making each individual frame unimpeachable to his own standard, his own moving standard.
Yeah, an endlessly shifting standard that will cause large amounts of the previous. Like, you see that just constantly. It's extraordinarily rare to have the self-discipline to create something that anyone would consider like great work without some sort of imposition from outside yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to interrupt, but the ducks are on the screen that I was talking about. So
I do like the ducks.
The ducks are very nice.
Go on.
There's a. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I was like, the delay was real. I was like, where
They are
the
fantastic,
ducks?
though.
I
They're
love
adorable.
the ducks.
But yeah, just like the more often than not, like this is not a weakness to be ascribed to like any individual so much as like most people have this. You get left to your own devices to make something exactly as it exists in your mind, and you will always know exactly where it has fallen short, and you will always be ready to go back on that until someone outside says, well, you have to put out something.
Yes. I mean, this is something that is so like fundamentally human, that it's a cornerstone of like psychoanalytic theory. Lacan calls it the partial object, the thing that you pursue because you cannot. Well, you can't pursue the real thing because we don't exist on we exist on the symbolic level, but we can only perceive the symbolic level through like language. So there's even further remove from that, and then because then, for lack of a better way to put it, like because we can never know our own hearts. We can't even desire what we desire. We desire our idea of what we desire, and then chasing that idea of what we desire becomes like this trap. And so basically, what you've got is I always go back to Thief and the Cobbler guy, sitting there in his kitchen, being like, "Well,
That was exactly what I was gonna say." That dude.
It's like, well, Lacan
Richard
says that Richard Williams is like, well, Lacan would tell me that pursuing the partial object is madness, because as soon as it comes within reach, I will, it will cease to be itself, and I'll have to find it, I'll have to chase after a new phantom, or like the phantom will change, and I'll chase after that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm going to prove him wrong because. I'm not chasing an unattainable figment. I am making the perfect cartoon.
All right, so like I am there have been a number of like recuts of that movie, and I think the recobbled cuts, I believe is what they call it, is like supposedly the closest
Yeah,
to
the
the original
most
script.
complete version is like sometime in the 2010s there was a recut of the recobbled cut.
All right, there was
Yeah.
somebody put that on YouTube. Like they somehow got away with that. I don't think anyone was paying
Yeah,
close
it's still
attention. Oh, it's still up.
The only company that like put any money into that other than Richard Williams himself was like Miramax, and they don't give a shit.
Just
Yeah, it's like,
over.
oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm
The
going to get
grand
the
irony.
Weinsteins. This will not burn me in any way.
Yeah. So
Look
I
upon ye mighty
so I
in
put that
despair.
on one slow day, and decided I'm going to see this like legendary movie like as close to it should have they wanted it to exist as possible. And I watched it for 40 minutes and then closed the YouTube tab and never reopened it because it was boring.
That's the thing. Like in the end, it has to be a good
It's-
movie.
It's one of those situations where, like, I would compare it to, like, the classical definition of a masterpiece, like a piece that exists purely for the sake of showing the mastery of its creator.
Mhm.
Sure. Like, I
Like,
could
that is what it
absolutely
is.
say that there was like a lot of technical skill going on there. But I could not give one single solitary fuck about anything that was happening in that story.
Oh yeah, like it's because again, it exists as an excuse to show the talent of the creator. Like this is me, like this was not me defending it. This was my critique of it. Like it is a masterpiece in a classical sense, a production that exists to showcase, like it is pure craft without any. Like there's something to be said for pure craft without any target audience.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
this
Sure.
did
Like
kind-
I absolutely appreciate like objects of art that exist not for any viewer, that are totally
Yeah,
for
to-
the creator.
to finish the thought, there's something to be said for the idea of like something that exists just for the creator, but inevitably a piece of art that exists to show the creator's capacity is ultimately meant to be for everyone but the creator.
Yeah.
So like this ultimately ends up being a product for everyone else, but which exists only to satisfy the creator by seeing them react to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very strange place for something to be, but ultimately the only people who would react to it the way that the creator would want would be fellow experts in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm actually watching the stream right now, and I gotta say, every time you're in combat and you run around the arena or whatever you want to call it, Goggle Bob, your character just slides.
I mean,
Yeah, you just
I
glide.
need to note that
It's
the movement in this
so
game is so
fucking
fucking
weird.
weird.
Like even like I get that you're supposed to be like in a combat stance, but like you're also going halfway across the screen in a second. A running animation would be appropriate.
Like you walk
Every
normally outside of battles, but in battle you
Yeah,
act
in
very
battle,
weird.
you slide.
You see, you got that.
you get on those
schmovement.
Heelys and slide.
Mm-hmm.
You're using those Heelys to escape your feelies.
Mm.
Woof.
Exactly. That's a deep cut.
You know, most games would give you like a male character and a female character to choose from, but I do like how this one just gives you like one with a hat and one with Dio shoes.
I thought one of them was male. I don't
This is
know.
gender
I
for
mean, we
you.
did establish an ass in that opening intro.
Yeah, no. You're playing as the female character, right? The one with the ass.
Yes, we were playing with the one with the ass of a 12-year-old boy.
Suspect is
terrifying.
hatless. Repeat, hatless.
Terrifying. But the other one was like wearing a belly shirt, and I don't know, man.
Crazy abs.
We have left behind traditional gender signifiers in Legend of Mana.
That's fair. So I guess that makes Mana ahead of its time. I guess.
Legend of Mana is genuinely, I would describe it as like I'm not sure I would describe it as fun, but I would describe it as an incredible game.
Yeah, this has. I'm watching some of this Thief and the Cobbler now, and part of this feels a lot like those old Eastern Bloc cartoons.
God, there's some of that, yeah.
Like
that
where-
for the record, that was always the impression I got.
Yeah, you'd have sequences that were just like you were supposed to be amazed that this was drawn by a human hand, but it's like, okay, cartoons are primarily watched by children, and these children have an incomplete theory of mind. Like it barely occurs to
Should
them.
be working to the level of your audience.
Yeah, exactly. They do not have a conscious understanding of another's subjectivity. They are not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, this is incredible! Such drawing, such flow."
The one of the darkest things that I'm sure like went through the minds of every like animator of a certain generation was just watching as television animation fully turned into advertisements, and children loved it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta figure, like, this is something that always gets me. She-Ra. Do you know who wrote the pilot for that?
Nope.
I do not.
It was the same dude, to my knowledge, it was the same dude who was responsible for Babylon 5.
I was gonna say, is it JMS?
Yeah.
Were there any She-Ra toys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I had
Yeah,
some.
they were all in the He-Man, in the Masters of the Universe line.
They like snuck into the He-Man line, and your grandma, who was just like, I know he wants something with furry underwear, could get you, pretty much the same thing all the time.
Get
I
you the
think I had
Hordak.
multiple
Yeah.
Hordak action figures.
J. Michael Straczynski has done a lot of that sort of thing, like a lot of those kinds of cartoons and work for hire and all that shit. Like,
Yeah. And the thing is
And-
I would say if you go back and watch like the first 3 episodes of She-Ra, I think that's like the premiere period. Like, it actually kind of goes hard. Like, there's a reason they were like years later able to get like.
speaking of people working under extreme constraints.
Yes.
I was about to say, and the thing is everybody
when
like
someone
She-Ra.
earlier said He-Man sucks, I was thinking I really
was
enjoyed
me.
watching She-Ra.
I was going to say She-Ra was the sequel to He-Man. I can't imagine anybody working on it didn't know what was happening here. Like, this is you're not doing this to make the next Thief and the Cobbler. You're doing this to sell Hordak action figures.
Yeah.
He was, after all, he was also a staff writer on just straight up He-Man.
Right? Yeah, and that's the thing. It's
You
like
gotta
just-
make that money if you're gonna be a creative. Like,
Yep.
Why are you
um,
being followed around by 15 children dressed as the Statue of Liberty?
they're
sorry.
followers of this crazy lizard lady.
Jake and the Fat Man.
That's not seizure-inducing or anything.
Just,
Did you
oh man,
just
I
say
could probably
you'd
do
better
something
check your
very
equipment
funny.
before attacking me?
I could probably do something pretty funny by doing J. Michael Straczynski's cast on Outer Heaven.
no, that'd be awesome. You should do that.
it.
Do I show is the movie Ninja Assassin or Underworld Awakening?
I really enjoyed Ninja Assassin solely for the scene where he tries to assassinate the enormous British dude in the bathroom and just absolutely gets his shit pushed in because the dude is just too angry to die. Like he
That does
cuts
seem like
ev-
something you would relate to.
That's
he
how meant for
cuts
Dread
every
ending.
single artery on that guy's body, and he's just like, "Fuck you! I'm going to pick you up and throw you through these stalls."
This
Incredible.
does once again. This does seem like something you would relate to.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I
it's-
could probably I could make a I can make a decent Outer Heaven out of J. Michael Straczynski's cast.
Yeah, sure, I'd be into it. I currently am trying to piece together like another full cast, just so I can get the privilege of picking the intro buffer song, which would be "Transition of Power" by Stoop, the Enemy of Mankind, and MOP. Simply because I know that would make certain people in the Outer Heaven IRC very upset with me.
What other reason would you have to do anything?
So that's it. I think the last like full one I set up was Ratcast.
I was
Where
going to say, I
every
remember the
single-
Ratcast.
Every single thing was rat related.
I believe it is if you check the notes for the Justice League game we played. I think I've got the full list of the Ratcast. If you
Oh,
need to
there you go.
remind yourself.
Forget about themselves and like to watch me suffer.
I'm gonna look that up now.
The Justice League Task Force? What was the name of that game?
I'll go. Let's see here. Task Force.
As a largely non-verbal feature meant for an adult audience. See, this is the problem: is that The Thief and the Cobbler is supposedly meant for an adult audience, but it uses childish aesthetics, childish humor,
It
tell
looks
a
like it's meant
children's
to compete
story.
with whatever Disney is putting out at the time.
Yeah, to tell a children's story. But again, if his intent is to show them, the mastery of ink and
Hand-drawn
paint
animation.
art, of hand-drawn ink and paint animation, then yes, of course, the only possible audience for this would be,
Other animators.
yeah, God.
It's one of those things like a part of me sees it as like the story should be simple because we don't want to distract from the animation. But man, I can't imagine it. I can't imagine doing that.
I love this line from the wiki where it's like, with only 15 minutes of footage left to compete. I'm like,
With
Oh,
only
really?
a third to a quarter of its length left to complete.
yeah, he had been working on the film for 28 years at this point. In fact, for the first 24 years, he completed 20 minutes of animation. So he was up to it was about averaging about less than a minute a year.
God, that's horrible news to hear.
Just absolutely miserable.
Like, as a concept, it makes me sad.
All right, Gago Bob, I have found your the listing. It was Justice League Heroes, and you were wrong. It was Willard 2003, not 1971.
My bad.
Hey, mistakes were made. It's all good. Nobody's perfect.
Gotta deal with the hand you're dealt.
Yep. God.
Honestly shocked to find out that Vincent Price had only been dead for 2 years when Thief and the Cobbler was put into theaters.
Only.
Man, fucking Vincent Price was so good.
Yeah.
These bobbling cacti are really unsettling.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes,
don't-
it is.
I feel like that's the sort of like animation where if like it was in like, the same pixel art style as the character sprites, it
fucking
would just be
words.
like, kind of adorable. But like when it's drawn in this like ridiculous level of detail, it just feels weird.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Absolutely getting your ass beat by these birds kicking rocks at you.
Just
I
getting-
mean, just the thing
getting
is
fucked
that
up.
like they would perfectly move to the level where they can throw their little beak at me, which is their strongest attack, and they have just a bazillion HP for whatever reason.
Go kick rocks.
Because they're very strong.
They
They're
are very-
strong as
I do.
They are
I
actually-
would like to point out that when I run out of HP, I also just rotate rotate in a circle.
As
Okay,
we
That's what I
do.
do.
Here's something interesting. So at the age of 68, Richard Williams released a textbook called the Animator Survival Kit, which
I
became
think I've heard of that now.
the Bible
Yeah.
of animation. And
Ironically, he did not survive.
well, he lived till 2019. The book came out in 2001.
Oh,
So
Okay.
in the end,
He lived to be pretty old.
yeah. So I'll say this: good on you, man. You clearly you finally made your mark.
Didn't he also like do a huge amount of work on Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. That was the thing that made him professionally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did the Pink Panther intros. I thought so because he has the.
Okay. Those are like classic shorts.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
Like he was, when working within constraints, he could absolutely make something that an audience would enjoy.
He
It's
could
just the
make
Thief and the Cobbler is for an
something.
audience of.
Him.
The Thief and the Cobbler
Literally
was for an
him.
audience of fellow animators.
yeah. Like it has an addressable market of like literally people he drinks with.
It's like if it's like when you like read your buddy's novel that he's been writing. It's like, okay, this kind of makes sense to me as someone who has spent like years talking to you. I don't think it makes sense to anyone else.
I don't know. I feel like I'm of two minds about this. I feel like one, there's absolutely like a value in like art that exists for nobody but you. Like fuck yeah, go you. Make that weird thing that like nobody else will appreciate. On the other hand, whoever took the thief and the cobbler away from him probably saved his life.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fair.
but
At some point, he had to stop working on the thief and the cobbler and start working on the animated survival kit. And considering the thief of the cobbler was taken away from him in the 90s, and he published the survival kit book in 2001, and considering the shall we say the slow rate at which he completed his earlier project, I'm going to say if Thief and the Cobbler had gone to production, you know, as he intended, and then flopped just as hard because
no
who the fuck
addressable
is gonna
market.
go-
Yeah, no,
who the
nobody
fuck
wants
is
to see
gonna
that.
Yeah. So, in the end, it seems that this seems to have worked out for the best.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm now looking at the PS1 Pink Panther game.
Oh dear.
Pink Panther in Pinkadelic Pursuit.
Oh,
That's quite the name.
no. I didn't. That. You know what immediately comes to mind is that Achewood where the word burrito lingus is invented, and Theodore just reacts.
No
by
one needs
saying,
that word.
No one needs that word.
No one needs or wants it.
Burrito lingus, eating a burrito with the mouth.
Isn't that just eating in general?
That's why we didn't need the word.
Other place to eat a
Match.
burrito.
The first word is oralingus, kissing with the mouth.
Yeah.
That's when. It's like no, you're making
Kissing with the
kissing
mouth.
sound. You're making kissing sound completely twisted. No one needs
You're
that
making
word.
kissing sound disgusting.
That's literally the word in the. That is literally what the panel says. That makes kissing sound disgusting.
There's another, like, I have my notifications on for Power Up Comics, and I just got another update.
It's there.
I
It's
have.
back.
I am subscribed to Power Up Comics Patreon.
Good.
Lucky.
Well, that's
Okay.
part of like what being an adult with a disposable income does for you.
I'm putting the
Yeah.
egg wood here so that everyone
Yeah.
Oh,
can enjoy
please.
it.
Please, Ray's Japanese toilet is a classic.
Right.
You got one of those new Japanese toilets. What's it do? Well, other
Now-
than the usual deal, it's got a computer that improves you. Like if you press this green button with the question mark on it, you get the word of the day. Oralingus. Noun. Means kissing on the mouth. That makes kissing sound twisted. There's no need for that word. Yeah, you're probably right. Here, I'll try to get a reasonable word. Oralingus. Noun. Means kissing on the mouth. The next day. Burrito-lingus. Noun. Means eating a burrito with the mouth. I am so
Burrito is not a
sorry.
verb, so that doesn't.
Burrito-lingus. Noun. Means eating a burrito with the mouth.
No, Ray's immediate. I am so sorry. It just communicates such a depth of feeling, like an immense, unprocessable
Like I
amount
thought
of
this would be.
shame.
I thought this would be fun. I thought this would be fun.
I wanted you to enjoy this. I wanted us to enjoy this together. And now you live, and now I live like under an unescapable mountain
Like
of
my
your
shame
shame.
is. My shame is the only thing that exists in my head now.
Yeah, it's like in that moment, you understand the what is it? You understand the saying like you can open your belly even before Buddha.
Now I'm just thinking about Great Achewood panels, and I'm just thinking of guess who just got yelled at.
I love that that's the one that immediately follows him inadvertently exposing Philippe to gay porn. He walks in, he's like, "Is this the Olympics?" No, Philippe, it's Superman. He's having a
Aim for
bad
certain
day. Don't look. Philippe said, "Oh, Superman doesn't wear a cowboy hat. Applesauce." That one I've committed perfectly to memory. Gun to my head, I could probably deliver that entire comic.
I think you mostly just did. Remember the extremely ill-conceived looking Achewood pilot that leaked?
Oh yeah, no that one
The voice
you
acting
got
on that was
raised-
so off.
it was well the first there was the soundless teaser that had like
Yeah.
Twitter just a buzz because it was just Buddy Holly's every day.
Every day it's getting close, going fast.
But then the full trailer comes out, and you can hear the incredible choice to have Chris Onstad voice Ray Smuggles, using what I can only describe as Mitch Hedberg blackface voice.
God,
There really is.
upsetting.
It's just like he is. There's no other way to describe it. He is attempting to sound black.
Yep,
Upsetting.
and it was so painful.
It was ill-conceived.
It was ill-conceived. Later on, Chris Onstad went on to become a marketing designer, and to become hilariously divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hilariously divorced shined through a few productions from that time.
Oh yeah.
He's
As-
not a man of healthy relationships.
No.
Some guys just do not spiritually survive going from not alone to alone.
Oh, man.
Oh, also, I just checked the hurricane path.
Okay, what's up?
My death looks less and less likely.
This is lovely.
All right.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Yay.
It hurt.
Happy about that.
My in-laws live in the villages, and so
Oh,
every
God.
time a hurricane comes through, like all of these people react the exact same way, which is by buying French toast ingredients.
Really?
Classic.
You're in the Northeast.
They like everyone there is like, oh, we gotta have like 3 gallons of milk and 5 loaves of bread and 60 eggs. It's like,
So okay, bread makes sense, but milk and eggs don't. Especially if you're not going to have any power.
Yeah, like that's an odd choice.
look, man, I'm just
Toilet paper, sure, absolutely makes sense.
Oh.
Bottled water, same.
no, but the thing is, most people who live in the villages are only moved to Florida when they became like old.
Yeah.
Before that point, most of them lived in the American, like in the American Midwest or Northeast.
Exactly.
And so they think of hurricane bad weather as being like blizzard bad weather. Where if your refrigeration conks out, you literally just take all your perishables and you plop them in the snow outside your house.
Yeah.
Unusual attitude, especially since they live in Florida. Like, I mean, I think they'd pick up on the basics of Florida pretty quickly.
Yeah,
But-
but keep in mind, like these are old people, and
Oh,
they're
yeah, those-
operating on unspoken
habits-
assumptions from a lifetime of
Those
living
habits
away
are
from
like
Florida.
set in stone. I get it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna say,
exactly.
logically, this will be just like that time that I'm used to. Why would
Yeah.
it be any different?
It's not even logical. It's just muscle memory at that point.
Yeah, no, it's just what you do
Muscle memory.
when you are experiencing bad weather, which is, I suppose, what a hurricane is to these folks.
Exactly.
I mean,
Um,
technically, a hurricane is bad weather.
No, it's very bad weather.
It might not be good weather.
No, it's generally considered to be quite awful.
Great.
I've been posting like
Especially
just
North
the
Carolina,
most
people
recent
have electricity.
like projections and stuff on Twitter and Blue Sky, mostly just so that, like, you know, on the off chance fellow Florida men or Florida women or Florida non-binary individuals, whatever, are following me, will see it and have the information. That's less fun to say.
Florida folks.
Sure, I'll go with that. That works.
Floridans.
Floridans.
Floridans and Flora Danielle.
Floridans and Floridanielles.
7 Floridans for 7 Floridans.
Every time I do that, I get all these people like begging me to say safe. And I'm like, I've been living with this since I was 12. I'm used to this. I know the rules.
Yeah, no, it'll only be a Cat 3 when it makes landfall. So
Yeah, it'll be a Cat 3, it'll be a Cat 2 by the time it hits me, and it's gonna, according to all current projections, it's gonna go pretty far south of me. I'll just get the outer bands.
yeah.
So
it looks
it'll
like
be a
it looks like
windy
the,
and rainy day.
it looks like
Whatever.
the people who really suffered here were the people in the Yucatan. Like apparently the Yucatan just got
They got wrecked, and there is reason to believe that Tampa Bay is absolutely going to get fucked, which is very bad. Like that's horrifying.
Yeah.
I need to look
The-
geography.
Yeah, no, the storm surge is going to be enormous with this one, and that's really fucking bad.
yeah.
Uh,
I understand that a tornado, no, sorry, a hurricane hitting like right on Tampa Bay could cause $250 billion in damage, which is
Oh, yeah.
you know
Oh yeah, I sincerely hope everybody has already evacuated there. Like, they have like, you know, a couple. They probably have 24 hours before it hits in earnest, but I sincerely hope they're all already gone, because the way these low pressure systems work is they basically make the sea level 12 feet higher, and that's doesn't sound like a lot until you see it.
I mean, considering a tall human is 6 feet high.
Exactly, right? But so yeah, that's cause for serious concern. Like, that's especially considering, you know, beachfront cities, they're all right up to the coast now. It's super bad. So I sincerely hope everybody has gotten the hell out of Dodge there. But, you know, for us
Yeah.
in the middle of the state, whatever. I will absolutely lose power on Thursday, and I will be annoyed by that. Because my Switch will run out of battery halfway through a Zelda dungeon, and then I'll just be like, well, I guess I'll read this new volume of Trigun that just came to my house. That's my plan.
Analog.
Yeah,
I'm going to bed.
my power went out.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Yeah, we're definitely quitting at some point in this little fire vignette.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty
Oh, I
exhausted
quit many
myself.
hours ago.
I mean, we all gave up on mana.
We have spiritually quit.
Hey, next week we got the Game Boy Advance game, though. There's some spiritual quitting.
That was made by Brownie Brown.
Oh, good. Fuck them.
Wow.
If we are spending like that much time on the Game Boy Advance mana, I'm going to commit the entire 18-minute song "The Decline" to memory, and just start singing that at the very beginning, and see how many times I loop before Gogglebob boots me.
Every day, it's getting faster. Everyone said go ahead and ask. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey, hey.
Do I just start talking about Power Up Comics right now?
You
Go
may
for
as
it.
well.
Okay. So, the
Oh, we got the
current state
detective.
of
Okay, never mind.
the current state of Power Up, like the current storylines going on. It's both Abbey Court Manor and also like this random arc of this random new arc of Gamer Dilbert.
Really? I have not seen the new Gamer Dilbert. I have to go check that right now.
Everything is crashing into each other.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
loving Abbey Court Manor. I absolutely love that shit.
Like I have to stay on top of it. Like I mean, like it's. Well, I don't have to. I love doing it, but I also have to keep the Power Up Discord server updated.
Nice.
It's important.
Let's see here. Okay.
And it's like the new Gamer Dilbert. It's like it's somewhere like in the continuity. It's not like linear. Like it's not like, oh, like this is picking up from where we left off. It's like somewhere before that.
It's a complicated timeline of
I am-
comics.
Every day seems a little longer. Every way love's a little stronger. Come what may, do you ever long for true love from me? Every day
I'm thinking I'm nailing this date.
It's
just terrifying.
Surely come, my
like Gamer Dilbert is like inbred. He's like, well, this is
Yeah, it's
fine.
him.
Like he's just like, I'm inbred and I turned out fine.
come what may, do you
Normal
ever
things to say
long
on the stream.
for me?
This is an incredible Gamer Dilbert arc. The Gamer Dilbert arc.
Like
No
No,
need.
we're
I'm
not
already
laughing at the thing
convinced.
in the game.
Holy
Got it.
shit.
I was like, what have I missed? Where did the thing?
Thinking
Eli
about
in the
Doper 3
server,
again.
like Eli in the server had said like, feel like I'm like he said feel like I'm rediscovering some mojo with this spontaneous Gamer Dilbert arc.
Yeah. Because, like, the Abbey Court Manor arc that's going on is great, but, like, being, like, privy to it much ahead of everyone else, because I'm in the Patreon, I get the impression that, like, you know, it takes a lot more to write than like his other stuff, because it's coming out a lot more slowly. So I'm glad that this was reinvigorating for him.
Yeah.
Thinking
He's like-
about dehumanize yourself and face to bloodshed again.
But, like,
Dehumanize and face to bloodshed.
face to blood.
Like he writes a really big paragraph about like deciding which of his characters to make inbred.
It's important. You need to
And he's
carefully
like-
select.
And he's like, well, I can't give it to Dorkwinkle because it's like, you know, it's like it wouldn't have the same like punch to it since
It feels like punching
Dorkwinkle's already
guys is-
got so much hanging on his head.
Yeah.
yeah.
That said, he
And-
is like immune to death, essentially.
Oh my god, you killed Dorkwinkle.
It does need to be pointed out that like there is no human weapon that can actually kill or even permanently hurt Dorkwinkle.
Again, very
Except
normal things to
words.
be saying out loud.
Exactly.
Okay, just going to quote him directly here. He's like, and then I thought of Gamer Dilbert, and it seemed like a good fit because his character is defined by hypercompetence. He's just about as far as you can get from an inbred stereotype.
It's true.
It is true.
In fact, Gamer Dilbert is so capable that it seemed like he could use a surprising flaw to balance him out. I'd planned on saving it for a reveal in the middle of an arc, but I couldn't wait, so I just made it as a standalone strip. Then I started thinking about plots that could arise from that reveal and made follow-up comics that built on it.
It is late enough. I feel like I'm probably gonna head off.
Yeah, I
to bed.
guess we're just gonna wrap up for the night because this is a whole little mystery plot, and this ain't Ace Attorney here.
Dehumanize yourself and face to bloodshed.
Blood, blood, blood.
The Legend of Crunchwrap will have to continue at another time.
No, it won't.
Not on stream.
I will never see Crunchwrap again. and I
Crunchwrap
like it
will
that way.
return.
I can't wait for you to name another character Crunchwrap Supreme.
If only there were enough characters. I was really hoping there was like.
I think you could
do,
probably
like, a
fit that
level
into
up.
Secret of Evermore, if I'm being honest.
I am absolutely going to demand you name your next terrible mana character. Think outside the bun.
Can't we just go with Fourth Meal? The Legend of Fourth Meal.
Sure,
That's
that's it.
on the game.
All right. Well, I'm wrapping up. So everybody have a good night. Try not to die, and we'll see everybody back here next
Please,
week. for
everyone, live Moss.
Further mana.
No promises.
I mean, everybody's trying not to die, but
It's got to be super ironic if the next stream, like this is recorded, the next stream is your funeral. It's going to be like, this was
Don't
dramatic
make me think
irony.
about that.
You're foreshadowing.
it's
I
not.
have an actual funeral to go to. Don't make me think about that.
All right, like if you guys end up coming to my funeral, you are required to party at my funeral because mourning is for suckers.
I will
No, I'm
agree.
invited, right?
I
Oh,
don't
of
care if
course.
it's next week or in 30 years. I will party at your funeral, Beats.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
will play Party all the time, and then I will also play Party, Party, Party.
My
Yeah.
funeral
Really?
likes to
I
party
mean,
all the
like,
time.
I mean,
Party all
like,
the time,
I was
party all
literally
the
quoting the
time.
bomb the music industry. Just one more beer and grow up.
Yeah, but I wanted to instead reference
Also good.
bad songs and Aqua Teen.
Also good. All right.
And-
Have a great night, all. I'm going to bed.
Good
Peace.
night, everybody.
Ah.